I don't know if you were Googling this or if you've looked at this up recently, but this next year will be 15 years since your episode of 16 and Pregnant aired, which then obviously spawned all of this. And now you're talking to your favorite authors and you're doing so many different things. What would you tell that, Kail? You could talk to her.
Keep pushing through. Just keep going, because it's scary. It feels like nothing is really progressing in the moment, but I feel like the bigger picture was that I was going to break through somewhere, somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And I feel like I did in a way.
Yeah, you definitely did. Was it really scary when you decided that you were done with MTV and filming that stuff and you're like, I gotta figure this out on my own?
I mean, truthfully, I had toyed with the idea for a long time, like probably a good 2 years, and I had always talked crap about leaving before. And then I talked to Chelsea, who had already left the show, and I was just like, what do I do? And she said to me, it is going to be the scariest decision you make because you're not sure, right? Like, you have your foot in the door in other places, but like, can you propel yourself from those points? And I think that was kind of eye-opening for me when she said that, because I saw how successful she was and how she grew and flourished as a person after she left.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of hoping for the same thing and wanted to work towards the same, goals in terms of like the rest of my career. And so I knew with that, and also just wanting to give my kids the privacy that they deserve, I was like, this is going to be the best decision. So whether I, make it big and go further than MTV, specifically in the entertainment world, or I go get a traditional 9-to-5, I think that it was time.
Yeah.
It was my time.
And it must be so many layers of that, because obviously there is the like emotional part of it and this is what I've been doing every day, but then the financial part, which like I'm sure obviously at that point you've been on TV for so long that that's a paycheck that you're very much used to and supporting your family with.
I think financially speaking, that was really hard for me. I think the rest of it, I was like, I need the mental break. But that being said, I realized at the point my podcast was financially more successful than Teen Mom, I was like, it's time for me to go.
Was that the coolest feeling ever when that first threshold crossed, that I'm making more money on the podcast than on Teen Mom?
I think that was their worst nightmare. And there was only one producer who reached out to me and was like, I knew that this was going to be good for you, and I believed in you, and I believed him when he said that. So that was a really, really cool realization.
Yeah. You're going on tour. Tell me about the dates and what people can expect if they go see you on tour.
Okay, so these are, I refuse to do like big shows right now because I am scared. So I'm doing very small comedy clubs right now. I will be touring in September and October for Barely Famous Podcast, and I have 5 locations right now: Columbus, Ohio, Dallas, Texas, Philly, and then I go to Cincinnati. So that's all in September and October.